back out here. What's up, y'all? We back at the Gentleman's Lounge. How y'all doing?
What's cracking?
We got the family, the folks. You know what's up, man? We got AJ out here, Albert Simmons.
Yo, shout out to me. Let's go.
We got Jared Jones, Jay Jones.
Jay Jones. You feel me?
I gotta look at the middle camera because I just noticed the two sides. You gotta look at this one right here.
I see. Nobody.
Because when we did the show,
This is how it just goes south real quick. Nobody cares. So you got Les, man. What's up, Les's boy?
everybody cares.
And I'm excited. Because we was talking about this in season 3.
Yeah.
Now we back in season 4. We was able to get my homegirl Bianca out here from Balanced Soul Counseling. Just want to make sure, all right, so we appreciate having you. What's up? Licensed therapist. You gotta say licensed because people don't think you just throwing your opinions out
That's
here.
true. I am
Social
a
worker
licensed
or
clinical
therapist?
social worker.
Okay.
Clinical social worker.
You're not a therapist, you're a social worker.
That is technically correct. But
Hey.
being a social worker, it's like an umbrella. Like, you can do so many things being a social worker. Being a therapist is just one aspect of it. So,
So you open for new clients?
currently, I do have a wait list.
What?
So business is booming, right?
I feel it.
A lot of people need support, and
Me.
I'm happy.
Help me.
Well, I'll do an intake with you, and then I'll put you on the wait list.
Yeah, I got a lot to say.
It's a good problem.
I
It'll be
bet.
very interesting.
But are you gonna listen too? Though?
Right.
Right.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna listen for sure.
Yeah.
Are you a feedback?
Answer the question.
Ooh, good
therapist?
question.
Because some people just listen.
Yeah.
I've been in therapy and they just listen. I'm talking to a screen and
Leave them.
problems and thoughts and they just like. All right, well, so the next appointment is going to be next week at 7 o'clock, same time. Damn, give me some feedback.
So what they do is they wait till the 3rd or 4th one, then they give you feedback because they want to make it
But you
seem
still
like
didn't
they
get that on the
listening.
3rd or 4th?
Yeah, because they don't
It's really
just
just like they listening and even in person, they're just listening.
Yeah.
They
Every
try.
therapist is different for sure, but I make sure to let my clients know up front I am a little bit more direct than most therapists.
I want you to tell me when I'm wrong.
I do gently call people out if they're
That's
not
fair.
doing things that are aligning with like their goals or the things we've been talking about. And my approach is very conversationalist. Like, I'm super laid back. I feel like it takes a lot of the pressure off of them, of me, because I also have ADHD and anxiety and I talk a little bit too much. So
fair.
I'm an open book with my clients too. It's very,
So do you
very
share your
back and
personal?
forth.
You share your own personal life with them too?
not all of my personal life. I do have to be mindful of like when it's appropriate.
Yeah.
Right.
Is this going to be helpful that I share this? Like, I'm not just going to say like, yeah, I ate some pizza last night, ate an edible. Like, there's no reason for them to know that information. But
true.
if it's going to help, for sure, because I do have a lot of life experience, like a lot of trauma experience too. So I find that it's helpful to relate to them for sure.
Yeah.
That's
So
real.
how did you come across whether there's just trauma that you had experienced as a child? You was like, you know what? I think I want to go into the space to
Like how she get into the field?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want the truth or the lie?
I want the truth.
Nothing but the truth.
I want the truth, ain't a
Like I
lie.
said, I'm an open book. I'm very authentic. So I was originally a nursing major. Figured out I was not smart enough to pass the science classes.
Not interested enough.
Not interested enough,
Yeah.
right? I just couldn't get it. So I failed a class, community college. I was like, this is not for me. I knew I wanted to help people, and it honestly wasn't until I went to this music festival called Electric Forest, and I had this like,
Real hippie.
oh, for sure, I'm a modern day hippie.
In the crowd. I love that. Hubby's in the crowd, man, because me and hippie having the same, like literally we'll just turn to each other, like even when I go over their crib, man, because they bad cool people, I'll turn, and you just be like, it was a vibe, but go ahead.
We're chill. Yeah, it was like during that festival that I had a very spiritual, psychedelic experience. And I was like, oh my God, I want to help people and like, I want to help criminals. I want to work in a jail and like get into these people's minds because I watched a lot of Criminal Minds and Law and Order and shit like that. Did I end up doing any of that? No.
Yeah, like, what are you, a parole officer? Like, or are you like
I
a
thought about
licensed therapist in a jail? Do you have to have like a different type of degree to, or it doesn't matter?
Nope, you can still be a social worker and work in corrections. It would be called forensic social work.
Yo, I gotta find
Yeah,
this show.
it's super
Let me find
cool.
this show for y'all.
That would be very interesting.
I'm sorry.
I thought about being a lawyer and doing what's it called? Criminal Defense.
Defense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey, everyone's entitled to
I'm
a
like-
trial, right?
I watched a little bit too much Power.
Right.
I said I gotta go back to school for this shit right here.
It's never too late.
You're right.
So how long have you been in practice?
I graduated with my master's in 2018, so it's been like 5 years now, right?
That's what's up.
I'll never know what day it is anymore, I swear to God.
It's a simulation. It's okay.
I swear. So it's been 5 years, but I've been in private practice, which is like one-on-one individual therapy for the past 3 years. And then I went out on my own and opened up my own business last summer. So
Congrats.
I am my own boss. Thank you.
That's what's up. What kind of drove that? What drove that inspiration?
Ooh, without saying too much,
Gentleman's Lounge.
I didn't like how I was being treated at the last practice, and there was a lot of microaggressions.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Experienced that.
Found out I was getting paid the least, even though I had more experience than some people. So I was like, you know what?
And where these people have different ethnicities.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. With you.
Don't get me wrong, I learned a lot. They helped me so much, but at a certain point, I was like, I could be doing all this shit on my own.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I knew the back work, the insurance information. I'm like, there's no reason. And honestly, my own therapist was like, you need to get the F out of there and open up your own shit. Like, she really empowered me.
Awesome
Wait,
moves.
You're a therapist and you have a therapist too.
Makes
Sure
sense
do.
though.
Yeah, of course, she's human.
Yeah.
She goes through shit.
You can't be.
Plus, think about all I'm hearing and
Yeah.
taking in on a daily basis. Like,
You can't just share it with people. Yeah.
right, I have to share it with someone who is confidential.
Right.
Also, we're supposed to have supervision, so that means I have to meet with someone to talk about my cases. 'Cause
Makes sense.
this is heavy, right?
It's like
And
being a cop.
right? I have to make sure I'm not having any bias. I have to check myself as well. Like being your own business owner on your own, it's kind of lonely. So I do have to check in with my colleagues and make sure I'm on the right track.
Yeah. That's
Well, let's take a step back then. So, what exactly is mental health? I guess because this topic is
Yeah.
it's been getting more and more in hype. In the last like few years, especially like right before COVID. But I mean, even growing up, right? Like, you used to have your mom snap on you and be like, you know what? I can't deal with this. Ain't good for my mental health. Like, but it would be like, oh, it's like it's a saying or a phrase, but it wouldn't be something that was taken serious though.
Right.
So I mean, what exactly is mental health? I guess so we can begin there.
Honestly, excuse me, mental health to me is literally everything you do. So the technical definition is your overall well-being with your emotional state, social state, and psychological state. However, your physical state, how you talk to yourself, what you put in your body,
It all
who you hang out with,
It aligns.
all of that affects your mind. So it's so wild to me that here in Western culture, you're like, yeah, this has been like a growing, booming topic. In like Eastern cultures, tradition, they've always valued having a clear mind.
That's why they be having
Zen
6 months of
mind.
vacation half the time. I'd be
swear,
like,
right?
what?
You some
You got a
mental
lot of
days.
catching up to
Piss me
do.
off. I mean, I'm jealous in a good way where it's like, yeah, that makes sense because they understand it. Like, their lunch breaks is like, yo, if you want to go outside, take a smoke break and take a 2-hour walk around the building, go right ahead. You don't.
4-day work week.
2 hour? Yeah, they'll be like,
Right,
yeah, no,
you
you're
never come
fucking out of here, buddy.
No, some
You
countries
take a day off.
actually do like end their work day at like 2, go home. In Mexico, all businesses close. Well, where I'm from in Durango, all businesses close at like 1 or 2. They take a nap, they eat with their family, they have a siesta, and then they reopen at 6 or 5, right? Like they give
Nice.
themselves that break.
It's like the love, man. It's like the life.
The U.S. could never.
Yeah, because it's corporate. I work in corporate. So it's like, it's so much work to do. So people are scared. Well, not scared, but they're skeptical to take days off, personal days for their, their mental health. Me personally, I only take days off when I'm going out of town or on vacation,
How
personally.
often do you take a day off to legitimately
Just take it.
rest
Zero.
and rejuvenate?
Yeah, not a lot.
None.
Or if I have a dentist appointment, a health appointment, those reasons I'll take a personal a half day or something, but
Yeah.
I'm still working.
So I think it is needed because you working in some of these high stress environments and working is like you want to take a day off, but then your job's like, well, if you leave, who else is going to do your job while you're gone?
Right.
Yep.
So it's like,
Well, honestly, who cares?
Or you're not motivated, right? Or they're thinking like you're not motivated because you're taking days off. So if you're actually taking the days off that we give you, like if we give you 14 days off a year, but you take 10 days off, they're actually looking at you like, yo, you're not really committed.
You're not committed. More days off than the rest of us.
Yeah, like you're not really a hard worker. Yeah. Like you're actually maximizing your time. Like that's insane to me. And that's kind of like how the American culture is.
And it's hamster wheel.
It's the old
no
way.
days off.
Our generation and the generation behind us, like we're trying to change the narrative a little bit,
for sure,
which is good. But like our parents and grandparents, hell, that's the way they think. It's just like, bro.
Nah, I mean to be honest, I'm a disagree because what it is that it's finding more access to us because we want to work at home and everything's computer based now. It's like, okay, well, yeah, you can work home, but now I need to know exactly where you're at. We're giving you a company laptop. So I need to be able to track this. I need to understand when you're actually online, right? Or you should be able to I should have more access to you now because you don't have to actually drive. So let's just take out 2 hours of drive time. Now I have more access to you. That's 2 extra hours out of the day that you should be working. Which is essentially what electric vehicles kind of segue into because now salespeople can do work while they actually on the road without having to focus on driving.
Oh, hell no, I would never.
Wait, what? I've never heard of
Yeah, no, I've never heard.
Oh, yeah, taking phone calls and all that other stuff.
Yeah,
taking Zoom calls.
No, electric vehicles. So if I'm a
Like
sales rep,
if
I'm a sales rep and I'm in an electric vehicle like projecting the future, which is only like 5 years away, now the vehicle can go to appointment for me. I don't no longer have to be hands free. Now I can double my calls, right? Because I'm in the car. I can double my work. It's all about maximizing the workforce.
And that is so fucking draining, right?
Mentally draining, like 100%. And that's why, the U.S., I'm assuming, you let me know if I'm wrong, the U.S. is probably the most impacted when it comes down to like suicides and things along those lines. Because we just work ourselves to the ground and it's like we don't actually just take a step back and just like, let me actually enjoy the world. Let me enjoy life. Let me do that.
I think China's up there too.
Japan as well. Yeah, they are probably even worse than us.
Yeah, see?
Especially
that's crazy.
In those factories, like
Shein.
Or the
Apple. Those people in those Apple factories, like there was I think it was like 2 years ago when Apple had a very high suicide rate of people working in those factories because they were just working them to the bones. And they weren't getting paid much. So
it's all like
crazy.
Toxic.
But it's expected.
Yeah.
In the corporate world, they're like, well, you signed up for this.
Right. You need it.
We paid you this big salary, so you should be available.
Right.
Yeah. Or
all the time.
High hourly rate.
Like, how often have you guys checked your teams and seen somebody else on and you're like, well, should I be on?
Oh, yeah.
Should I pretend that I'm on it?
Nah, me? I'd be like, this dumb motherfucker.
No, I mean, I agree with you with that. But I get her as far as like this optional meeting, right? That's on the calendar, but you see that your whole team is joined, but not you. And you're like, well, it's optional, but in the back of your mind, you're like,
you gotta jump on.
Now,
everybody else
back to the point of now that like I'm not working hard enough, I'm not willing to put in that extra time. But in my mind, shoot, this is me talking for me. You pay me for my extra time. So if you ain't paying me for my extra time, then I shouldn't have to do the extra time.
But then when it comes to bonuses and stuff, they
right.
Hey, look, well, you didn't show up to the optional meeting and you didn't do this or that. So here's your bonus.
Yeah, when I hit over 100% on my quota, you didn't give me an extra day off, did you?
Hell no.
Yeah, I still made you a lot more money than you made me.
True.
Because I mean,
they don't look at it like that.
Let's just say you sold a piece of equipment that was $50,000, right? Yeah. Well, you probably only taking $500 to $1,000 from that actual piece of equipment. All right, so where the rest of this money go? Oh, they manufactured it for like $20,000.
Yep.
Right.
Well, let's start doing this math because this math ain't math, and how many you all this?
It's always you get the short end of the stick though.
And then what do? They increase your quota.
True.
Oh, we want you to produce more with the same amount of time, the same amount of resources, but because you are experienced 6 months further than you were, you should be able to produce a lot more. Right. And there's the trap. There's the mental health breakdown right there.
It sounds like y'all need to change industries because my job is, they're like real good about work-life balance.
Aren't you in HR?
No.
Project management.
Healthcare. Project management, healthcare though.
Y'all have
Nice.
There's no expectation on us to be working past 5 o'clock.
There's a lot more companies that are
now.
You just open up a can right now.
Upper management.
Let me let you finish. Go ahead.
Upper management, you know what I'm saying? It's expected, you know what I'm saying? Like senior PMs, directors, things like that. Like, yeah, they'll be sending out emails. I've gotten emails at 11, 12 o'clock, sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning. But that's not the expectation of, you know what I'm saying, the people who are doing more of the day-to-day work, you know what I'm saying? Because they really believe, like, I work for a healthcare company, so you know what I'm saying. We are big on
They
mental
practice
health
what they
and all
preach.
that. You know what I'm saying. So for me, like if I'm answering emails, they tell us all the time, if you're on PTO, go on PTO. Don't answer emails. Like be on PTO.
That makes
You know
sense.
what I'm saying? Like I've never been on. It's been probably out of the 8 years I've been there, like a couple times where I've just answered emails when I was on PTO. Like I had to get this done because I was the only one that knew.
Yeah, specific roles. So I've always been doing the same thing.
Role specific.
PTO, working PTO, and having to work because of financial reporting or specific roles that people are supposed to do on the team. So, you know.
Man, don't fall for the trap. So I'm with you when it comes down to like, yo, if you on PTO, you on PTO. Don't answer emails, don't answer nothing. But it goes back to what we said. His expectation is you're not about to take 14 days of PTO. You're going to take probably 7 days out the year of PTO. So we're going to make it seem like, yo, you're okay. It's comfortable. Now imagine if you taking that full 14 days out the year, every year.
Did they say anything?
I do it every year.
And here's my second piece. Nope, but here's my second
Oh,
piece.
you take that week off.
But
and
here's
shit.
my second piece, though, right, for Jared.
I never do it.
Because of the industry, and I know what industry he's in, and it's the most cheated, like, shady industry, in my opinion.
It had nothing to do with me.
I know it don't have nothing to do with you. I know it, but that's why the work-life balance is so around. Because, I mean, insurance, right?
Yeah. Health insurance.
Trust me. Trust me. When it comes down to insurance companies, they are the shadiest bunch of people ever. Why are y'all not
Not my
working past
company.
5, but people health issues are happening at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, when I need to call customer
Why are
service?
you denying my claim?
You know why
it's
you
a
denying my
Oh,
claim?
no, it's the call center, right?
24-hour advocate.
Yeah.
I'm in project management.
And what do they do?
Nothing to do with me.
I agree.
That ain't
I
my-
agree.
my
We
job,
talking about the
dude.
industry. We talking about the industry you in, though. We talking about the industry you have. Of course.
Bro, that's like being a cop and saying, but I'm a good
You
one.
better call the call center.
That got nothing to do with me.
I literally have.
I agree.
I
I'm talking about the
I can't look up nobody's claims.
Okay, so you're in a whole different department.
literally,
then.
You know what clearly I have a personal
Clearly.
it's personal. And I'm talking about the industries in because I'm calling customer service, but they're like, oh, let me get you to my manager. However, it's after 8. You can't reach anybody. You have to call back tomorrow during like normal representative hours. So you looking like, yo, I'm at the hospital right now.
I need my
What do you
shit.
mean? They telling me you denied it because the misspelling of a letter. Let's fix this right now.
Yeah,
That's
they,
not
they
Blue
will.
Cross Blue
And I
Shield
have
of Illinois. I will say that.
I will say Blue Cross Blue Shield, my top insurance provider that pays me on time. They never give me a hassle. Other insurance companies, if you have one thing wrong, denied.
Wow.
They
Yeah, I've never had
can't
any
do
another insurance
I've had them
company.
all.
that had me.
I've had them all. I've had it.
Besides Blue Cross.
So
I've never had nobody else. I can't compare and contrast.
Oh, I've had them all, man. I've changed companies a lot. But
Personally, I haven't had them, but as a clinician, I have to submit all of my claims.
How does that work when when I submit my my information to my therapist, et cetera? How does that work on your end? You just
So,
you read them out the
all about
numbers.
billing
and-
codes, man.
so
billing
there's an
codes.
there's an online system that we have access to. Typically, business owners hire someone to do their billing.
Right. So you
which
do
is
it all
what
yourself.
I did.
Oh, you hired.
I did,
Smart.
and then she screwed me over.
What?
Yep, she's about to have a lawsuit.
Good for you.
So
Hire me.
now- right? So now I'm doing things all on my own. So you have to submit the date of service, how long was the session, what's your diagnosis, where did you take the session, your name, age, everything.
Your
One little
ID,
mistake.
your
Your subscriber ID,
all that
one little
stuff.
mistake, your claim's getting denied.
And it's like category, subcategory. Well, if you pick this category
Modifier.
and it was this subcategory, but
doesn't
your
cover-
description says this,
Yes.
oh, denied.
Nice. So then you got to bill
Then
them
you
accordingly.
gotta bill your
Yeah.
customer because you're like, your insurance rejected. The insured has to then reach out to the insurance company, ask why it was rejected. And then the person that submitted the claim said this. Now I gotta go back to my therapist.
Yeah, so that's another shitty thing about insurance is that in the mental health field,
Yeah.
if I don't have my notes explaining medical necessity, so stating why you need to keep coming and why insurance should keep paying,
Right.
they're gonna say, oh, they seemed fine for 3 weeks in your notes. They don't need coverage anymore.
It's like a
So
short term.
insurance, while makes therapy a lot more accessible to people, it's also very limiting in the criteria they look for.
And you know who usually doesn't have insurance? Who? Rich people.
or they choose not to use it. That's true. They have it, but they choose to pay out of pocket.
I could pay out of pocket.
Exactly,
right?
because that insurance isn't caring about the notes. They don't care how many times you go. They don't have a say in your mental health.
It's wild.
But it may cover a portion though.
Absolutely.
You can still get some sort of discount.
Absolutely.
When
yes.
you're rich, you don't care about that portion.
Right.
You're like, no, 50,000 for this procedure. Let's go. Sign me up.
Fuck smart spending.
Exactly. So now, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, you being like you taking a big leap. Congratulations again on your business. Like, and I'm glad that you're getting booked up. I mean, when did the industry change? Would you say like, yo, anybody could have gone and started their own business, and as long as they were good, they would have been booked up? Or do you think like within the last 5, 10 years, whatever, like it's just been a boom?
I would say definitely since the pandemic because of telehealth.
Yep.
Before the pandemic, there was, again, insurance was only covering a certain number of sessions via telehealth. Now, because of the pandemic, they have no choice. Like, people don't want to leave their houses.
Yep.
They might not feel safe. And now at this point, it's convenient as hell. Like, you don't have to drive after work, after a long day. You can just pull up on your couch and have a very, I believe, still intimate session with your therapist. I have really great sessions in telehealth.
I like in person better, personally.
Why is
Yeah.
that? I guess it depends on the thing. Why
I
is
mean,
that?
it's more intimate, more personable.
Absolutely.
It's more. I feel like the therapist is invested more. You know, so.
I think it's all depending on.
I would feel like my clients would probably say different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Then in person?
You
Then on the computer?
You FaceTime your girl.
I'd rather be in person.
Yeah, I know you'd rather be in person. However, is it less intimate? Because is it not intimate when you FaceTime your girl and it's just her in the room? Is she not?
No,
dance
it's not
for you?
less intimate.
She not
but
take off her
it
clothes
will
for
be.
you? She not
It
show
will
some
be
boobies for
better
you?
physically if I'm.
Yeah.
But you're not trying to touch them.
I'm trying to talk. Well, not the variable. But you talk about the girl. You talk about my girl. If I got a girl, I'm trying to touch.
As long as you know that this is the only person in the room, and then there's only you in your room. To me, that's still intimate.
It's still intimate for sure.
I agree. In person is definitely different, but it's not like I need to physically rub this doctor's leg or to be
No, not at all. Not at all.
But to feel the connection,
Yeah.
you're right. And also research shows that in person is the most effective
Effective
type
way.
of therapy.
Makes sense.
However,
I agree.
I'm interested to see 6 to 10 years from now what that research shows now that we have so much telehealth. Because
However, though, I mean, that research may show indifferent, but that's because most of the sessions have been via Zoom or online. You know, it's not many sessions.
Because
The
now it's
efficacy, though.
it's increasing now. So then nowadays, like 5 years from now, like
gonna be
is it going to balance back out, or
Right.
is telehealth going to be a lot higher? Teledoc, I mean, for those who don't know what telehealth is, I mean, it's really anything you can do virtually to have like a HIPAA compliant session with like your doctor, therapist, whatever. But like teledoc's been around since like 2006,
yeah, it has.
maybe 7.
Yeah, for a while.
It's been around for a while, but it got the hype of it. The height of it was because of the pandemic. That really brought it out.
Sure. I had my therapist. I've had both. I've had virtual and I've had in person. And I felt more connected
In
with a
person?
Virtual. No.
Oh, virtual?
Really?
Virtual. I'm glad. That's
A
good.
virtual doctor. And I think it all just depends on your therapist too, because
It does.
It's a good
the way
point.
the way your therapist makes you feel. Like my therapist, she no nonsense. She gonna tell me how it is.
Yeah.
And it's like I have a connection with you, and the therapist that I had in person. It really, I mean, she was there, she was present, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. So right now, I'm a big advocate for.
And I don't know if you know.
What about sex? I've had 3 different therapists in the past 2 years,
Sex therapist?
and I've had one
No,
male,
sex of the-
1 male, 2 female.
Oh, I was like, what?
Yeah, I was a little confused. I was like,
Gender. Okay, I got
Okay.
you.
Sorry, gender, sex, whatever.
Yeah.
But I had a
You're
male.
right. Wow, you just gotta elaborate.
The male was the better of.
really?
Surprisingly,
Okay,
yeah.
see, yeah, a lot of men say they connect more with female therapists, but it really was just his preference. But I don't know if you guys know this, like the most effective intervention for change and to help support someone through their healing journey isn't all the breath work you're gonna do with them, isn't the way you help them reframe their negative thoughts. It's actually the relationship
Yeah, it is.
between the client and the therapist.
Yep.
Like if it's a really good one, you can see your therapist for years, and like that is more effective than any other intervention.
Yeah.
So it does have to be a good match.
My therapist is definitely a great match. She's just really expensive. It's like
Yeah.
$250 a session.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, if you get
For an
that.
hour
That's a
session?
lot.
Yeah. But when
I had one like that
she
too.
She is amazing.
Yeah.
She is amazing.
Good. You know what? She's
literally-
worth it.
And like it helped me like
Try another therapist.
during the marriage.
Just get that $150 therapist.
We do the
I get an allowance through my insurance.
Okay,
Nice.
that's
You know
good.
what I'm saying? I think it's like $150 or something like
Oh,
that.
that's not a bad thing. Yeah.
Yeah, all of you guys should have an employee assistance program. too.
Yeah, we do.
AP.
Yeah, you.
I didn't know until the pandemic though
benefits.
that Blue Cross literally gives you like,
Yeah.
what is it, like 8 free sessions or something like that.
8. That's a
But
very
it never
generous
used to
amount.
be
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
a lot.
That's what's
It's
crazy.
always been that way. Just people just you never look at
They
your
never knew about it.
I'm pretty sure I used to look at my benefits. It wasn't there in 2000.
Did you ever use them?
Did you ever?
No, I never really thought I was being a therapist, to be honest. So
2004?
that's probably another topic to bring
God
up.
damn.
Because I never really...
Trust me, EAP has been around for a while.
Yeah.
No, I've heard
I'm
of it
talking about the
for-
year,
I've
but I'm
heard
talking
of it for a while,
2004.
but
That was my first job out of grad school.
For real?
But
As
you
an
young.
EAP. I'm so young,
You
right?
young, no, you young.
You're
See,
right.
like I said, back in like 2007, I don't know if
Yeah.
EAP was around.
Let's say 2004. I said, wait a minute. How old was I in 2004?
I was 9.
In 2004? 2004,
I was 9.
Okay, we ain't gotta go down these ages.
Right. I'm looking like, what?
Age is just a
I was 12.
mindset. It's just a
I was
number.
12.
Jesus.
Jeez. All right.
What were you, 37?
2004 just
I was
kicked me in the
actually
back a little bit.
76, okay?
Damn.
That's why I look the way I look now. All right? I'm approaching 98. I'm approaching 98 right now.
Damn.
Damn to you. I'm still walking, still kicking.
What's in your diet?
Before I had benefits and healthcare insurance and some other shit. I'm like, well,
God,
was going-
God is in there. Right?
I was in middle school in 2004.
That's hilarious. I went on a date one time and I knew the guy was way too old for me when he was like, yeah, I had to like find a different job during the recession.
Life different job. Damn.
Oh, recession. I remember
Damn, I was in middle school.
Middle school.
That sounds rough, bro.
Like, cut it short. Hey, where's the check? I think I'm too old for this date.
So you mentioned dating there. So how does being a therapist, counselor, impact like your relationship now? I mean, you're engaged, right?
I am engaged.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're getting married in September. I'm so excited.
Nice.
How does it impact my relationship?
Because does he feel like sometimes when y'all just talking, you're like, yo, are you jobbing me right now? Like, are you straight working me? You working me right now?
Turn your therapist's brain off. And
You know, like, are you working
for
right now?
Based off that comment, turn your therapist's brain off. I've gotten that comment from several of my close friends when they come for advice or just to vent. They're like, I don't need the therapist right now. I just need a friend.
Yeah.
But at this point in my life and my career, that is who I am.
Yeah.
I
Communication.
question everything. I have worked on my healthy assertive communication. I'm very retrospective. I'm very self-aware. And when I'm like giving someone my input or my perception, majority of people in my life really do value it. And they come to me. Like I'll be at a party, people will trauma dump on me in the middle of a party.
All the time.
Like, I'm
All
just
the
trying
time.
to.
I wasn't ready.
I
But
get
that's just what I
I'm
attract.
drunk.
Oh, I
Leave me
agree.
alone.
No, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, so like that's just who I am. I'm not trying to patronize anyone or judge you.
communication.
It's just communication. Let's talk about it. Let me tell you how I feel about your actions because I know you're like not like behaving in the way you want to live your life. You know, like I can see these things and I can feel when people are feeling stuck. So
I'm stuck.
I can feel the vibration.
Right there, I can feel.
I agree though. 'Cause I agree though with her because I mean I know when I've met somebody where they know how to communicate effectively, and I know other people where it's like, you know what, I'm not gonna say dumb it down. I need to take a step back because how this person communicates isn't exactly like the best way. However, I understand it enough to like, you know what, I know if I just completely interrupt this person right now or just say like, yo, you are tripping, it's gonna make them
I got a
blow up. So I
question.
need to like just let them dump on me, like you
Yeah.
said, and then be able to relate to them, and then let them know softly. Try this approach, but if it's my homeboys, I'm gonna be like, no,
If
dog,
they
you
ask for
tripping.
it,
If they
right?
ask for it, exactly.
Because
But-
sometimes you just need to listen
yeah,
and not respond. Because some people don't. I learned this through my therapist.
I
Some
bet.
people, they don't need.
Get 'em.
They just need you to listen. They're not looking
Really?
for you to problem solve.
Yeah.
Just hear me out.
Yeah.
And then you can ask, okay, do you want my opinion or do
Yeah.
you want?
And that's like a thing a lot of men generally feel
Yeah.
like they need to fix.
Yeah.
They need to save.
I agree.
Sometimes-
And not all your women need
No,
to be
a
saved.
lot of people- a lot of people.
Okay?
Sometimes
They
you
don't
got-
want to be saved.
Sometimes you got your friends though. Sometimes friends they just want to clap back. They feel like they want to tell you what you did wrong or what you're not doing right. When sometimes all you want is an ear. Like you said, listen.
Right.
Sometimes, hey man, your ass was tripping. You did this. Woo, woo, woo. But sometimes I just want to vent.
That's when you stop talking to them or you express
Damn,
it.
bro. You
Sure.
just let me vex you real
Yeah.
quick. You coming to the conclusions and saying this, that, and the third, but you don't even know the whole story.
Right.
Right. They're trying to problem solve.
Let me get this off my chest real quick.
Yeah, they
You know,
just need
so-
to air it out.
True, but even when only some people might like, even when I do listen, I still have to validate them, like, and say, hey, you're
You.
like me.
They're not licensed though, but my
Right.
friends and shit.
It's just that
But you is okay.
Right.
Everybody
People
else.
think that's my therapist hat on. No, I'm just a genuinely compassionate person now.
Yeah.
Now, was I born this way? Absolutely not.
work. Yeah,
It
takes
took
work.
me a lot of work to get here. I'm a domestic violence survivor, so I went through a lot of shit, and I had to look internally, right? Like problems keep happening. It's time to look inward.
Yeah, definitely.
We all got friends that way.
I got a question though. Is there such thing as too much communication in a relationship or any social environments or whatever you want to call it? Is
Yeah,
there such thing as
absolutely.
too much communication?
Yeah, oversharing. Like even with your partner, they don't have to know every single thing that is in your mind.
Yeah, I
Can
agree.
you say that again for the camera?
Say it again for the
They don't have
camera.
to know. And like,
want to know
but that's going back
Women do want to know everything.
to intentional.
Yeah, that's it.
What I'm about to say? Is it going to serve a purpose? Am I trying to tell them this information to get a rise out of them? Do I want them to feel jealous a little bit? Like that is another form of self-awareness, is genuinely asking yourself, what is the purpose of my behavior? What am I about to say?
Right.
No, and that piggybacks me to what you were asking. Like, well, I don't need to know everything. What I found out just being married, right, is that sometimes we're not communicating enough. So that's why they bugging us about every single thing.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
Absolutely.
yo, why you like? I'm not gonna tell you when I'm leaving. Like when I'm leaving the house, and like if I'm gonna be back in 10 minutes, I'm not gonna be like, hey baby, just want to let you know I'm walking out the door. I'll be back in 10 minutes. But what I learned though is that we're actually not sharing enough.
Yeah.
True.
So that's why it's their way of like wanting to open up communication, not just women, but just people in general. Like they start picking at you. They want to know.
And those are called bids.
bids.
Bids for connection.
Ooh,
I had to learn that because I was
I like that.
in my marriage, like, because I knew I wasn't the greatest communicator, but this was something that I was actively trying to work on. And I would always tell my ex-wife at the time, like, I just need to over-communicate. And she was like, no, it's not. I don't need you to over-communicate. But in my mind, that's what it feels like I need to do because
Right.
I'm not giving you enough. So the only way I need to fix this is to over-communicate. And it's like, she wasn't asking me to over-communicate, but just
Right.
communicate more effectively.
Effectively, yeah.
There's a big difference.
huge
Yeah.
But was she able to communicate that to you effectively?
No.
And there's the
But we have to
problem
learn
of
that.
communication.
We have to
Right.
learn that through therapy, though.
Yeah, there's the problem right there.
Yeah.
There's the problem right there.
It's levels to communication too, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
You may want to communicate this, that, or this transactions, but the other things you may not want to communicate. So you have a communication imbalance. you
Yeah.
know? So,
And your communication also is developed from what you grew up with.
yep.
What you
Just
saw,
how conversation with
but
the wife.
also like how your parents interacted
Yep.
with each
Or they
other.
always
Like,
yelling at each other.
were y'all
like-
passive aggressive? Like, you know, do you come home? You said you were gonna take out the trash, but you're playing video games all day. Does your partner come home and say, you must have had a lot of fun playing video games today, right? Like that's super passive
Yeah,
aggressive.
it is.
Right.
It's just like the workforce. So you came in at 9:02 today. You're like,
So,
And I think
yeah.
I've also learned that there's no one blueprint for communication when it comes to
whatever works.
people or relationships that you're in because everyone communicates differently. Like the way I talk to these guys would be completely different than how I communicate with my spouse or my partner. You know what I'm saying? But you have to learn, you're going to constantly be learning communication styles with every interaction and every person that you have.
I agree.
Reading
Don't bring me
your
drama
body
in the morning.
language.
Yeah.
Seriously, like don't bring me drama in the morning.
Not
I'm not a morning. I'm not a morning
Not a
person.
morning person?
Yeah, I'm not a morning person at all. And if my wife comes to me and she oh, well, they said that there's something broke and this and that, I'm like, something broke? What?
That's me.
And I'm like, something
Ryan,
broke.
we need
I'm like, what
gotta-
you mean, bro? Like, what happened? And you don't have all the details right then and there. Now my day is fucked up. I'm looking like,
You gotta have everything.
I'm like, look, this early in the morning, you bringing me these problems. And you ain't got the full answers. You ain't got the answer, Sway. You ain't got nothing for me. I'm gonna be asking you questions, you don't know the answer.
Yeah.
God damn it, now my day's ruined.
I got some
I
questions.
need to go home and express that to my wife.
So,
Stop bringing me these problems.
Les is married.
Yes.
We're currently now single. You're engaged. So, if your partner was communicating as you, like and vice versa, is that effective enough for you or not? I'm asking everybody. Like, Les, is that if your wife was communicating as such as you, is that effective enough for you, or you need more, or less?
Let me make sure I understand the question. So you're saying like our level or our intelligence of communication, I guess, if that's the right way to put it, is the same level. Like we know to ask questions,
would
we
that
know
be
to
enough
listen.
for you?
So, like, if your wife communicated as you, is that effective enough for you?
Of course, but of course, it's something that would never be done, right? Because one, we're two different people,
True.
and we're two different sexes.
Sexist, yeah.
I guess a lot that's made. Literally, I was having this conversation with my wife the other day when she was explaining to me at a particular event how many women that's in our life, her and I, like whether it's family, whether it's cousins, friends, how many women like they get rubbed the wrong way with another woman for no reason. Like it's just like, she ain't talking to me. Or like, I can't believe she did that. Like she knows I don't like that color and she wore that color. Like whatever. And I'm just like, and we're literally like laughing about it because I was like, yo, me and my homies don't beef like that. Like
over that.
If you bring somebody where I'm like, yo, we had some issues in the past, at the day it's a mutual level of respect where I'm gonna say what's up. But it's like, they didn't say what's up to me. And then I'm on mine, I'm like, well, why didn't they say what's up to you? Like that's fucked up. And you breaking it down and you just realize, I said, yo, this is why we laughed. I was like, look at how much drama y'all got between y'all. And then y'all trying to get men to be able to communicate to y'all. And y'all can't even communicate to yourselves effectively. And it's not just a sex thing.
That's true.
You know, because men on the flip side, not to make it just like women, but men on the flip side, like we can't be vulnerable. True. So a lot of times the conversations that we're having with other men is always gotta be like, oh, we gotta show how tough we are instead of just being like, yo, my feelings were hurt. Yeah. Like I'm communicating to you and you hurt my feelings. Like to say that means you like.
I think it depends how close you are, the relationship.
No,
go ahead.
I got a question for you because I
wanted to hear her input
really,
first.
Go ahead.
But go ahead.
Remember that question.
Remember the question, but let me get her. Let me get her input.
If Ryan communicated the way I do, I think it would be good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so attentive too. He's also the most emotionally aware person I've ever been with.
Key.
And responds to my needs. Like if I have a concern, he has never thrown it back on me. He's never gaslit me, belittled me, made me feel like I was crazy. He's like, okay, let me fix it.
It's validated.
Like, let's talk about it.
Hey, I'm gonna snap a couple times for my boy. Because man, I gotta take some notes, man.
But also, I can be a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I have a big personality. I am a very headstrong, independent woman, and I can be a little controlling. But here's the way right, shocker? Here's the way I communicated to him. I told him this up front. I said, hey, sometimes I need you to check me. I need you to put me in my place because I know I can.
Give me an example how man can effectively or your
check me.
Can expect it. Effectively
when you push
it in your place because it's not like shut your ass, you disrespectful.
Right, that's
different.
disrespectful.
You know what I mean? So it's like, give me an example of that. Give me an example of that. Give me an example of that. Because women say that all the time. Yeah, put me in my place. And I'm like,
no, I get it. I know exactly.
All right.
It's a form of being submissive. So like, what's an effective? Because again, this is not going to be everybody's blueprint. But what's your blueprint?
I like when he's like, hey. You're giving me an attitude right now. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
She's like, I like that.
I mean,
hey, this is
you giving me an attitude. You put the hand up. You're giving me an attitude right now. No, I don't like that shit.
Let's call it a spade. A woman wants a lion, okay? And at the end of the day, yeah, you hunting for us. You going out there and doing all the killing and everything like that. But you want to know when it's time to protect that village, we gonna protect that village. So when y'all push it too far, we be like, all right, relax.
But you know what?
Yeah.
It takes a man.
Then y'all good.
I'm the big dog, you the little pup.
Exactly.
Healthy man with a good mindset to make a woman feel safe enough to be vulnerable and submissive.
That's true. But I think it takes what about tone of voice? You don't want a man to be like, hey, you're being a little... hey, you being a little, hey, you better chill out. You know what I mean? It takes.
Yeah.
Hey, but
And like
sometimes
that.
you only see it once, though.
Right.
Like kids. The kids, they see that. They see the muscles get big, the hands go out your head, you rip them a new one. So now, the second incident, you like, hey, we about to go there. You look at a little disrespectful.
Well, you don't want to intimidate them now.
You better check yourself at the door. Or
Hey, put some bass in it. You be like, hey, you know, hey, you going too far. You better relax.
Hey, yo.
Oh, uncle ass over here.
You know who you talking to. You know who you talking to.
Y'all said too many words. It's just a look for me.
It's just a look.
All right.
I know. That's when you ask that question. You be like, what?
When I give Ryan a look, oh, he knows.
Okay.
He knows
But that's the relationship. That's great.
And that's our communication
Yup,
that we've
yup,
learned from each other.
Right.
Not everyone's going to be the same. And what works for us might not work for the next person.
Most def. How long have you guys been together, by the way?
It'll be 4 years in December.
Ooh.
So when we get married, it'll be
Okay,
almost 4
okay.
years. And we
She
met
got
on
beat by a little
Bumble.
bit.
Well, she gotta get married.
When did you guys get engaged?
December of 2021. So it'll be 2 years when we get married. It'll be a 2-year engagement.
Yeah, so I was the same way. We got engaged. We got engaged 4-year anniversary, and we would have been September of this year.
What, y'all would have been 2 years?
It would have been
2 years of being engaged.
Yep.
And you would have postponed it.
And how does that make you feel?
Hey, you see what they be doing to me? Don't bring me back doing to me.
Y'all see that episode? Don't bring me back here, dog. Don't bring me back here, all right?
You be letting them bait you.
Oh my gosh, what I'm saying.
You got a question.
The question that I was going to ask, we talked about vulnerability amongst guys. What is a way that guys and men can be more vulnerable within their friendships with each other? 'Cause I feel like women do it.
Honesty.
Women do it a lot.
Yeah, we have
Honesty.
vent sessions, trauma dumping sessions. Yeah, I mean, it takes one person to say something, to just say like, yeah, I had a really hard day today, or like, I'm super stressed. Like, it's okay to admit to your partner or your friends, hey, I can do it, I can manage it, but this is really heavy.
Yeah.
How are you guys
Open
doing?
communication and honesty too, because sometimes, guys, we may have it may not be a grudge or anything, but say hypothetically we put on a section, like, hey man, so and so ain't put on a section where he, you know, or he ain't sent me no money. So you may have a little animosity towards that person, or then they do something else. You be like, man, this, you know, it's just open communication,
And then
open
you
and
hold
honest.
that with
You
you.
hold that with you. Be like, yeah, I know that person over
But
there.
then
you know
you
me.
never told them. They're not mind
and you never
readers.
told them.
Right.
So then
I
this
agree.
this pattern of this action continues. So then you just holding that against them for however long.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with y'all, man. I feel like with men,
It's a lot
this
harder,
is
man.
my perspective just because being a man, it comes with confidence. If you're confident in who you are, then you should be able to tell your homies exactly what it is. And it took a lot of work. High school, you know, you don't speak out as much. College, you know, you start speaking out a little bit. And after college, when you are confident in who you are and who you are as a
Right.
person, but not only who you are as a person, but who you are as a friend. Like, if you know you're a really good friend of somebody, then I would tell Jerry, like, bro, you tripping. Like, dude, you, like, nah, you wrong, bro. Or nah, what you said to me was very disrespectful. Don't say that to me again. I don't need to fight you for it. I don't believe in fighting your friends, like, physically, but I mean, it's happened, but I don't believe in it. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you flat out, like, bro,
Right.
you cheap. You can't come out with me no more.
Cheap.
Right? You ain't gonna put on. Oh, why
Did
don't
you
get
say
invite? I'm like, to
cheap
be honest,
or
bro.
cheap?
Cheap.
Like cheap money.
Yeah, like I'm like why don't I get no invite no more? I'm like, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. The last 2 times you was out and we did trips, like, you started talking about how many drinks you had. Once people start doing that, I don't invite you out no more.
only had 2 shots. Why I gotta put on
Only
250
got
for the
2
bottle?
shots. I gotta get the whole bottle. Don't worry about it.
That's the
Yeah, I hate that
I
too.
don't talk to you after that. I'm like,
Yeah.
don't worry
Wait,
about it.
I only
We still
had a
friends.
salad.
Me and Jared, we there with that. I know Les too. Like, I hate cheap motherfuckers out of town. I hate it.
Yeah, out of town, nah.
It's like, we come out of town to
If
spend
you
some
wasn't
money.
part of the original party, I get it. If you showed up and you was like, yo, y'all hit me and told me I was in town, I just pulled up on you. cool, I bet, especially if it's like midway through the party. But if we agree to come here as a group,
Right.
I don't care if you a vegetarian, my dog. I don't care if you are vegan and you can't drink any of this liquor. The fact is, you are part of this crew. You are to maximize your benefits,
You
bro.
better get some of these bottles of water that they brought out
Some Red Bulls.
subsidize the Red Bulls.
Hey, those Red Bulls be
I'm a firm
expensive.
believer in expressing yourself because if when you hold it in, it don't do nothing but like irritate you.
Yeah.
It eats you up.
It eats you up. Like being angry
Energy
at somebody.
keeps it inside. Like there's no point.
I'm big. Like when you angry at somebody.
I think you also have to be around friends who are comfortable enough
Yes.
and are able to support you
And
in
you
a
feel
way.
safe enough around them.
Because
Yeah.
when you expose yourself to somebody and they don't accept you for who you are, like you just like, well, what the fuck did I do this for?
you
If
feel
you
safe?
just be, if you're like vulnerable and they're like, head ass,
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Yes.
Why would I
How long
ever
we know
open
each
up to you
other?
again?
You feel safe? You feel safe
Me? Yeah, I'm always safe.
around me? Like you feel safe? All right,
Yeah.
Hey,
you feel safe? Like
mentally safe, you talking about? Or like,
Open up to him.
like to speak up. Feel safe?
yeah, things that impact me directly.
For sure. Okay.
It's levels to my friendship.
It is levels. It's
You know, where it's like certain things I'm going to, like, I mean, shoot, I've told Jared this. I've told my homegirl, Brianna this, that, you know, Frankie Fabre and them done met last time, man, where legit, I got mad respect for Brianna. That's like my sister now.
Everybody
But
got a
when
friend
we first was like getting cool, and she came in like, yo, why don't you invite me out? Like I'm your sister, stuff like that. I said, I mean, I fuck with you, but it takes levels to be in my sister. Like I gotta see how you move first.
Facts.
I literally
And
told her
that's
that.
the truth.
And she respected it enough to be like, nah, dog, I get it. And now we tight as hell. Because I wasn't gonna, like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna tell you like, yo, I'm just gonna kick away any chick and call them my sis. Like, I don't know how you move.
Yeah, I don't like
you could be a straight skank that's trying to like put other skanks on me and tell my
clout.
business.
Clout.
Or you could be that girl that's like trying to like clown my other homegirls behind their back because it's the dude that you want. Like, I don't know. I gotta see how you
I had a
grown for that.
I had a female friend
I
that
wish we were.
that told some of my business.
Rufus.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you, I had a female friend that I was friend with for what, almost 5 years, 5 years. You probably you know it, but I ain't gonna say no names, no names. But I had to cut her off, man. It was tough. Had to cut her off because some information was leaked about my relationship and me and my partner that I was venting to a friend that I thought. And after that, I was just like, we can't be cool. Like I gotta let
Did
you
you
know.
tell her
Right.
why?
Did you tell her?
Yeah, she knew why.
Okay.
And she was like, all right, I respect
Yeah,
it. And
that's respect.
we ain't cool to this day.
She said she respected it.
She didn't say that specifically. She didn't say it specifically.
Yeah, I got you. Thank you for letting
She
me
knew
know.
why. She understood.
know what? You
Fine,
right.
I wouldn't say respect. She understood.
Okay.
She understood
Yeah.
why we are no longer cool, and you know,
She accepted it.
accepted it.
Yeah.
Better than me. Like I have a bad problem. Like if me and somebody get into it, then because I'm just so quick to just be like, you know what, I'm gonna write you off, I'm gonna cut you off. I'm not even gonna say nothing.
You shut down.
I do.
Yeah, that's not effective. That's not effective.
You know it. You said it before the podcast.
I have said it before, but
Sit down.
she ain't know that.
Yeah, you know.
You just analyze me.
Yeah, I mean,
Jared's very nice. though.
Obvious.
Jared's
Yeah.
very nice. He's super nice. He give people the benefit of the doubt when they don't need
Yeah.
the benefit of the doubt. You know,
But
he's super nice.
when I stop fucking with you, I'm gonna just stop, and I'm not gonna tell you why.
yeah. By them, they robbed you
You're not
already.
getting an explanation from me.
They done robbed you
Yeah.
already.
Is that healthy?
Of either your shit or your emotions.
Has it been working for you?
Yeah, it's cool.
Well,
I mean, my life is good. You know?
and that's all that
You gotta manage
matters.
your friends. You gotta manage your friends. Managing your friends
It's
is
tough.
key.
I wouldn't advise that method
I mean, it don't work for everybody. It don't work for me.
because
I'm a Scorpio though.
look what happened with the old guy. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be like, hey, bro, it's time to go. It's time to
Yeah.
pack it up and let's, you know. Sometimes you got to effectively communicate that to cut people off, you know, for good because it can boil down to a, you know, darker situation later on. You never know.
For
So that's
sure.
why I was like, if you just cutting people off, they still around, then it's not the
Oh
best way.
yeah, because then they're not gonna know what's
They're not gonna know. They don't know
like,
what's
You
up.
but
They
not
just
them.
know you've been ignoring their ass. Like
Then
you're
we
not
in the same
responding.
circle and we fiddling around. You know what I mean?
Then people
That has
start
to be
talking.
communicated.
Yeah.
So
I got a question though. I mean, we're about 3 minutes in. I mean, 3 minutes left.
3 minutes in.
Or in. I mean, depending on how we go.
Right.
We probably gonna have to have a part 2 of this. What do you say to people that are like, you know what? I get it. Like, I respect the profession. Me personally, I don't need a therapist. Like,
Then that's fine. Like, you don't need a reason to go to therapy either. Some people have called me and said, yeah, I just want to learn, have a deeper understanding of myself, my relationships, and the world around me. That's great too. If you feel like your life is not impaired, your relationships are solid, your relationship with yourself is solid,
Key.
then I don't think it's fair to say like therapy is for everyone. Because also, I know we're out of time, but therapy was never made for Black men.
Ooh. Glad you
Like,
said it.
this was never made for y'all.
Why
Like,
not? No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's not just kidding. It's an honest
it's
question.
very colonized type of system.
So you said we
And
get the short end of the stick.
absolutely.
I don't know.
There's not
I'm just
many
talking
people
shit.
that look like you in therapy that can relate to you. And you guys already have enough difficulty trusting people in higher authority. So like why would Black men want to go and open up their heart to some lady they never met before?
Oh,
Yeah,
we need a
that's,
part
that's
two.
probably why.
We need a part
We need a
two.
part two. We need a part two, Darcy.
Like that's probably one of the major reasons why in the culture, like Black men don't go to therapy
Yeah,
because it's frowned upon.
And
Well,
I
it
don't
used to be.
blame you.
Used to be. Now it's a lot more accepted among the culture. Like there's been a lot of things going around about mental health and mental health awareness because of suicides and things like that. But that's a whole nother
But
story.
that's
I
why you
know.
need to be educated, though.
There's more stuff in the community though.
Yeah.
And that's good.
But that's why you need to be educated because, I mean, the communities, which we know the main communities that are impacted, if you're not educated on this, like you don't elevate your status, you don't really realize that these are even options out there.
The thing is, too, our people, majority in those neighborhoods and locations, they don't even have access to
That's true.
the benefits
Or insurance.
to get it.
Yeah.
Insurance.
Yeah.
to-
Or
to
And
have
if
it.
you on
They can afford
Medicaid,
it.
Oh,
like no
say
therapist
goodbye.
I know takes Medicaid. They have sliding scales, but all those spots are filled.
Right.
So
So how are we going to get the help that we need if we can't even afford
Community.
it?
Jesus.
community, barbershops, church.
Barbershops.
No, she's
Yeah.
right. No, that's a form of therapy right
messing
there. I
with
agree.
Even bigger issue than that is like when these kids grow up, they like never really sit back and think about the traumas that they have experienced as a child, and they just continue throughout life. And it's just like, well, I'm this way because this is how I was born. But it's like you really just have to sit
And reflect.
and reflect on everything that you've been through as a child because that molded who you were today.
You know what?
Absolutely.
Let's, as we bring this to a wrap, let's actually, I'm gonna talk to the guys, but I think we should make this a part two because you opened up like the can of worms with that, and we should go a little bit deeper into communities. Your demographics, like what the breakdown is of like your clientele, because you probably have a lot more insight on like how therapy affects like different communities,
Yeah.
resources, things like that. So we definitely gonna bring it back. So with that being said, like I said, we out of time, but we appreciate you. For y'all that don't know, y'all can find her, man, Bianca. What is it? The Balanced Soul Therapy.
You got the
Balanced
Counseling.
soul
Balance.
counseling.
I need the business.
Soul
All
counseling.
virtual.
Just want to make sure it's all virtual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's dope though.
Thank
so
you guys for having me.
and it's always good to get in when they're young because a lot of times like they're more in tune. Like they already prejudged you or nothing like that. They're like, yo, I want to take on this. I really want to be in the moment. Cool. So definitely make sure y'all look her up. Shout out. Hopefully we can get you back on for the next show. And of course you got Jay Jones. Go ahead. Tell them how they can find you.
Find me on Instagram at the JJones_05. You already know.
For sure. Y'all already know, handsome phenom. Holla at me. AJ, let's go.
All right, you got bald ass less is more. You know what it is. And then Bianca, let them know how they can
Money.
find you. You said me money, be money.
Be money.
That's how they find you.
Money.
How
Well, everybody else had a nickname.
are you right? You
Be
right.
money.
How they
No, that's our
find you?
Instagram name.
Balanced Soul Counseling. Instagram.
Ooh, love it. Balanced Soul Counseling. And
Is
with
it
that,
SOUL? SOLD?
SOUL. Your
Milk,
soul.
come on, man. This ain't Soul Lounge.
like your
Shout out-
feet,
shout
boy.
out to
Come
my
on.
homegirl, Bridget, Soul Lounge, man. And
sure.
with that, we out.